Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Landlord, Tenant Show, and other stuff with Miss Arindy and Miss Kita. And today's topic is renting versus buying. Now, as you know, the times have changed so quickly with interest rates and for buying homes, and the rent has gone up, and people want to really kind of choke folk. At least that's how I feel about it. I'm not gonna lie. Because it's like, how you got these high behind prices? So you trying to figure out, do I need to own it or do I need to rent it? So we're going to have that discussion today, and I hope you enjoy the show. We appreciate you coming. Thank you so kindly. Take it away, Miss Randy. I know, she looking at me like I done lost my mind. Why? Because she just took a gulp of some water. I just want to put that out there. So if she sound like she about to choke, it's only because she just took some water. Anywho, go ahead, honey.
If you ask me, I'll always say buy.
And why should we buy?
And buy with a fixed rate.
Okay.
So that you know how many payments you have to make before you can assume real ownership.
True.
When you renting, you can't control your payments. You could be renting a place for 6 years, and on that 7th year, your landlord say, I know you paying $1,000 a month, but this area is a $1,500 a month area, and I'm finna go up $500 if you want to renew your lease.
We just kind of messed up because,
yeah,
go ahead.
It is. It is for a tenant.
Yes, it's messed up, especially if you only been budgeting for a certain amount. And I'm saying that because I remember before they developed the Little Caesars Arena downtown. Mm-hmm. I remember listening to, I want to say, I'm not going to mention the show's name, but I remember on this particular radio show, a guy called in. Now, he stayed in Cass Corridor, and you know how Cass Corridor is. It's hood.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Cass, but it was in the hood. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about that, he was saying how at that time, he was like, I'm only paying, $500 and $600 a month for rent. He was like, but because they bought up all that land that was around it prior to them building, he was like, my rent went up to $1,000. Now, mind you, that was probably about, oh my gosh, not quite 10 years ago.
It's like 1,800 now.
I know, because now everything that's built up over there, because I'm sorry, when I went to school over there, it was the prostitutes and the drug lords and whatnots and things. And, folk, I had to walk from Cass all the way to doggone Woodward.
And it still is. The crackheads and the druggies.
They just on a different block.
No. They still right there.
Probably closer to the Masonic Temple.
No, they all right there.
Because I done seen them near the Masonic Temple.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That little park right there.
The little park right over there.
But they all up and down Cass too.
I know. It's just crazy.
They everywhere. They didn't go nowhere. It's just like the suburbs when they built the houses. The deers didn't go nowhere.
I know.
The deers are still there.
You know why the deer's still there? Because in their mind, you invading their space.
And that's how the crackheads feel. Y'all upper class people came down here to our crack-infested neighborhood where we was just fine, and you want to bring your new cars and your electric cars and your nice houses.
Right.
And we still living here.
Ain't going nowhere.
They ain't going nowhere. They lived outside anyway, so they like, we outside.
With the nature.
Yeah. And we gonna beg y'all every time you walk by.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? You got 50 shit? No, they don't ask for change no more.
No, they sure don't.
You got $1? You got some money you can spare? Seem like you can spare some.
You know what?
Living over here in this nice area.
So, anywho, the guy, it was tripped out because he said he didn't budget for that amount. And like I said, it wasn't quite 10 years ago, but it was a while back. And like I said, it was right before they built the Little Caesar rent ain't been up that long.
Mm-mm.
So I went it probably about 7-8 years ago. But regardless, it was just a trip that he was like, oh my gosh, now my rent going up $400 and $500. I didn't budget for that. And it's crazy. Matter of fact, case in point, I remember when I was working at Blue Cross. And at the time we were in Southfield. To show you how things change so quickly. We were in Southfield at the time. And so they were moving everybody back because, of course, everybody downsized and all that bull crap. Anyway, so I'm going, at the time, to get the push to move downtown, they had so many people come in during that particular time and like, hey, you can get you a loft, da-da-da-da-da. Get it for, matter of fact, they was giving them away. And when I say giving them away, I think the rent at the time, because we were working downtown, people were getting lost for like $500, $550, maybe $600. But they was getting these deals. That was in 2011. 2011. I remember that clearly. Because at that time, you can go down there, and I think Uber and them might have been out around that time. No, I don't know. But whatever the case may be, one of the guys that I work with, he had got him one, paying like $550 a month. Now, talk about today, I'm sure that rent is probably $1,500, $2,000. Because those lofts are no cost.
Yes.
And I was just tripping like, wait a minute, what? But, you know, at that time, that push, at that particular time, which is why that guy was probably like, I'm only spending $500 or $600. Yeah, that was during that particular time. But now, in today's world, you're trying to figure out, should I rent or should I buy? And the thing about it is, the interest rates, like the mortgage rates were like high. What they like, what, 6 and 7%? That's crazy to me. Because really, if you can get it, I think they had started out, a couple years ago, it was like 2.5% or whatever the case may be. Maybe 2%. And trust me, I'm not, please forgive me if I got the numbers wrong. But I'm saying that because I know it was significantly less than it is today. And it's tripped out like, dang, should I go ahead and buy or should I go ahead and rent? And really, it's a toss-up. It's really a toss-up.
It's really not.
I think it is.
I think it's not. You know why? Because, again, if you buy, you have control over your payments.
And I get that.
If you have a fixed rate, you have control over your payments. You know you can budget for what you have to pay year by year, okay? If it's fixed.
Right.
But if you rent, you have no control. It's year by year. It's year by year. You got a year lease. So, okay, yeah, this year is $1,000. But when you get ready to renew, it's $1,350.
And see, I don't remember when I was in an apartment, I don't remember it ever going up that high. Like, they never went higher than like $50 that I can recall.
That was back in the day, Lakita.
What's back in the day?
Lakita, listen.
Maybe I'm just oblivious to all of this, because this is like, ugh.
Because now everybody want market rate. So if you go on Zillow and you pull up your zip code and a typical 3-bedroom, 1-bath bungalow is renting for $1,450, you'll be like, okay, why am I only getting $1,100? What you have to realize is you have a group of people that own property, and they owned it because they wanted to, you know, look out for the neighborhood, change the face of living for people, you know. They wanted to help the people. And then you have investors.
Uh-huh.
And they look at that property as an investment. And they want a great return on their investment.
ROI.
ROI. So if they feel like the market is saying $1,650, then they want $1,650. They don't care about, oh, what about the people? Take it from a property manager. I'm a property manager. And before I leave the house, I have to take my feelings, slide it up under my pillow, put my pillow in my blanket on top of it and tell it can't go with me to work.
Right.
Because if I do, then I'll get into these debates with my clients, which my fiduciary duties is to my client.
Right.
But if I'm looking at my client like, damn, why you want to charge that $1,500?
Who understood that? I didn't understand that. You just
why you want to charge this lady $1,500?
Oh, thank you.
And they looking at me like, because the neighbor's getting $1,500. Well, I can't get $1,500. I can't be like, that's bold. You should stay low. Then am I really doing a good job as their property manager?
No.
Oh, okay. Because the first thing they gonna say is, whose side are you on? Well,
what had happened?
Because they looking at me like, if the rent go up, then your fee go up. Why you mad?
Right.
Well, I'm mad because what about the people?
Right.
I just see a lot of people being stressed out and stretched to the point of no capacity. I see mamas and daddies having to get second jobs to pay the rent. I see more kids being at home by themselves because they mama and daddy didn't budget for what's happening. I see that we just came out of this big pandemic and people trying to get off their feet and get back to work. And before people can get back to work, everything goes up before that. Like before my income can go up, my rent done went up.
But see, that's
and
what
I can't
like.
leave.
Right.
Because if I leave, now I need an income tax check to get into another house. I just did a deal, okay? The couple was so happy to see the house. They were elated, okay? Until they seen how much it cost them to move in. The property was $1,200. The landlord wanted first month rent, last month rent, security deposit.
So that's $3,600.
No, honey. The security deposit is a month and a half.
Ooh.
$4,200 to move into a flat.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. What? A flat? $4,200?
A 3-bedroom, 1-bath flat with a shared basement.
What in the hee-haw hell? What? Okay, so
when I heard their application was approved, I sent them a congratulations text.
Right.
I'm happy for you. They like, yeah, we was happy too until we seen that it cost $4,200 to move in. Who got that? Who got that just laying around to move into a rental property?
Somebody who can afford to own a home, probably.
Exactly.
And I'm not even trying to be funny. And don't get me wrong, I get it. I think because I'm having a problem with the interest rates with the mortgage companies is my issue, because you end up really kind of paying the same amount. The difference is you either owning it or renting it. And I'm not saying there are programs out there where you don't have to put any money down, but you got to make sure that you have a good credit score. I think now is what, 640, if I'm not mistaken. You have to have a 640. But if you need assistance with that type of thing with credit scores, trust and know there's ways to get rid of all types of inquiries within 24 hours. But I digress. That's a whole nother subject. But anyway, like I said, I get the whole owning and renting, but I know that people who've been renting this whole time, which goes back to our conversation last week in regards to Section 8. So now I'm stressed. I'm just being hypothetical. So now I'm stressed because of my cash flow. I go to apply, then I make too much money. I can't apply for Section 8. Or if I apply, I can't put my dude on there who's, I can't put him on there or put his income on there or whatever the case may be. Or he's just exempt, period. I'm a lie and say I'm separated from my husband or whatever the case may be. So now I got to lie in order to try to get approved for Section 8, which may not come because I make too much money. But yet I got to figure out.
Like that, no way.
but at the same time, I got to figure out, well, wait a minute. So where am I going to stay? So the money I need to spend in a decent neighborhood is going to cost me even more.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have that. So now I got to go to a rat infested type deal that I'm spending $1,000 possibly for.
Yep.
That to me is just inhumane. And I'm saying that because I don't know, I have a heart for folk, and I know everybody is not perfect. I know you got some schemers out there, but damn. And I mean that in the most sincerest place. Damn. Like what do you want me to do? And I'm trying to keep the strands on my head, on top of my head.
You need to go move in somebody's basement, you and your kids.
And see, that's another thing. That's what I was going to bring up. I remember, what was I doing? I was just looking up some rental properties.
I need to go rent a room.
Yeah, of course, in the what area is that? My gosh, Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
But what is that area?
Boston Edison.
There you go. I knew it started with a B. Charge my head, not my heart. So the Boston Edison district. I remember looking up rental properties, and I was tripping on the fact that a lot of them, of course, the owners aren't staying there, or if they do, they may stay in that little house in the back. But a lot of them just renting the rooms. And I was like, wait a minute, what? We're renting rooms for $500 and $600, $700, $800.
Now it's more.
I'm sure it's more now, but at that time I was like, this is probably a few years ago. And I was like, what?
Cheapest house over there is $2,200.
For a room or
for a house.
Mm.
Longfellow, $3,300. 3 bedrooms.
For rent?
Yeah. $3,300.
It wasn't, about over 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, those houses were going for cheap.
Not anymore.
Oh, I know. And it's like,
the
especially
taxes is like $500-$600 a month.
That is crazy. I don't even know what to do with that anymore. And I guess my thing is, when do we get to a point where I'm not trying to start a revolution. I'm really not. But it's just like, I don't get the whole point of thinking that, hey, we're just going to have these people out on the street and that's okay. It's not okay. And there's empty homes, not just in Michigan. There's empty homes across the doggone United States that have nobody in there to fill them, and they're not for sale, but you have the audacity to put people out on the street.
Well, that's why the shelters are overwhelming, and that's the new scheme now. I don't want to say a scheme, but it's the new way of life. Like, in order to get help, you have to be homeless. So a lot of women end up going to the shelter to get Section 8 or MSHDA or whatever faster.
I have a problem with that, and my heart is bothered by that.
Imagine my job.
Yeah.
Imagine having to be the one to tell a person they wish list. It's like a grown person believing in Santa Claus. You like, I need a backyard for my kids. Oh, you do? And you make how much a month? Oh. You make under $2,500 a month. And you want a backyard for your kids. Sorry. Check that off the list. You might not even get a basement for them to play in. Okay? Check that off the list too. At this point, we looking like everybody sleeping in one room with the kind of money you make. I'm so serious.
I know you are, and I just
hard for realtors right now. It's hard for realtors because it's like, due to the pandemic and the government like saying, oh, no evictions, we not evicting nobody. That was a bold move. And I'm going to tell you why it was a bold move. A lot of these landlords got mortgages on them houses. So you telling me I can't put this person out by law. But my mortgage company is saying, you better pay me my money or we taking the house. So either way it go, they getting put out. So I have to pay the mortgage while y'all live in my house rent free. Okay? For months.
Right.
Not just a month.
It was for a while, about a year, wasn't it?
Yeah. So you just living in my house like, he can't put me out. So now the landlords have came back with a vengeance. They like, if you ain't got a 6-something credit score, we want no previous evictions. Well, half the city got evictions. Half the Michigan got evictions because of that pandemic stuff. Because the landlords don't try to evict you and got turned away. So now they like, I need top dollar. They not in it. They in their feelings. Like, I don't care, ma'am. Either you got top dollar or you don't.
And I feel that. I get that. And that's the thing. It's so many things to dissect when it comes to that portion of what you're talking about right there. All because of, to me, a situation that should have never occurred. It should have never occurred. And I'm going to leave that alone on that note. But I feel like, at what point is there a portion of us where we like, you know what, I can't allow this to happen? Or when do we get to a point where we see people as people? And like I said, I know everybody ain't all on the up and up, but you got some honest people. And it seems like the ones that get screwed the most are the ones that's honest. And I'm just talking even for myself. It's like, are you kidding me? Because I remember, and I talked about this on a previous episode, whereas, you asking for assistance, and they looking at you like, what you need assistance for? Nigga, look. I know. I said it. I know. And my apologies. But it's just like, come on now. With your clickety clacks, will you just give me what I need for right now? Shoot, I invested in it. So I don't understand. My money don't went to it. I can't get back what I asked for. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I'm in need. And I don't know. And I just think that at this point in time, I think we need to start really evaluating how we supposed to be living our lives for real. And that's just across the board. And I don't know, like I said, maybe I got too much heart. Sometimes I get in my feelings about certain stuff. But I just, some things don't make sense to me. And it just doesn't. Some things just does not make, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me on how we can do people and think that that's okay. And I'm talking about good people. I ain't talking about your ratchetness, the ratchet folk. I ain't talking about the ghetto ones. I ain't talking about the ones who just, want to get by on the system. I'm talking about those who are actually being honest, trying to do right by people and by the system, and yet they get screwed. I mean, it's like walking around, excuse my French, with open cheeks. I didn't ask for it.
Well, a lot of times it's like women or men, not going to be prejudiced about this, but women or men that has been in abusive relationships, they build up a wall and the next person don't have a chance.
Okay.
They had this one false move mentality. You know what I'm saying?
It's a trigger.
Yeah, it's a trigger. So it's like,
because they suffer from PTSD.
Yeah. So they like, so a lot of landlords are suffering from PTSD. They like, oh hell, no, I don't want to hear your story. I don't care how many kids you got. I don't care what the situation is. The last MFer did me so wrong. And I cared about her and her kids. Okay? And they stayed in my house for 6-7 months and didn't pay me nothing and then tore the house up. So now they like, I don't care. Prime example. I had a young lady looking for a house. Her budget was $1,000. Okay? Everything we looked at that was $1,000 was like, as a realtor, you're like a saleswoman at Sears or any boutique. You know what I mean? Like if you come in and your favorite color is blue, even if I feel like blue looks stupid on you, I have to smile. I have to be like, oh, that's nice. And that's not fair. I'm not a good salesperson.
Because you can't, you fake it.
Because I'm so honest. I'll be like, So I'll go in the house like, no. And they looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Like, what we saying at? This is all right. I'm like, oh, meet the fuckers. Like, y'all must be about to tear this house down. Like, I need to see where you live at now. That probably tore down to why you feel like this is nice for $1,000 a month. And it's dirty. And the cabinet doors don't shut. Yeah. That was terrible, Lakita. I went in there like, I mean, my nose was in the air. Like, not my kids. Not in front of my niggas. I was like Django. I was like the white man on Django. Not in front of my niggas. You won't be doing that. You know? I'm like, they like.
They just smiling.
They smiling and stuff. I got in my car and I said, Rindy, you have got to stop doing that. Your expectations is not the next person's expectations. Do you understand me? Where you at with it, everybody not there.
No.
So you have to be like the Sears Rindy. You have to be like, oh yes, this is nice. You like it? Oh, look at the carpet. It comes with its own stains.
Not with its own stains.
Oh, this is nice. The windows don't open. This is great. I feel so safe in here.
For real.
The cabinet doors are already open for you. You don't even have to open them. You know?
That is sad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
But again, you know.
But that is, it's so much to dissect with that. So I just think do your due diligence and your homework in trying to figure out whether you should rent or buy. I get people who rent for the most part, like they may not have a lawnmower or they, you know, trying to maintain property. But the benefits of owning is actually better. And some people may disagree. And that's okay.
That's fine.
I mean, you know, you do what works for you
in
the time that is working. That's what I say. But I will implore you to really look at your relationship with money, your mindset as to where you see yourself at.
At longevity. Like
your right now doesn't have to be your later. You know what I mean? So you probably need to look at your later instead of your right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. Be in the moment. Capture those moments. But if you can see yourself beyond your situation, that can change your whole perspective on where you are later. So I really would like people to really kind of look at what are they doing to prepare for the later versus the now. Because at the end of the day, if you see yourself doing better things and greater things, then the money won't matter. You would have saved, you would have done whatever was necessary to get to where you needed to go. But it's really a change of a mindset. And I think people need to really look at your relationship with money. Look at how it does. Do you have a scarcity mindset? Are you afraid that you may not ever have anything? I don't know. So anyway, we're going to end it right there. We appreciate everyone tuning in to our Landlord and Tenant show with Miss Arindy and Miss Keita.
Fire your landlord.
Did she just interrupt my ending? And I want to say that, hey, at some point though, we're going to have probably sponsors. And, you know, for things of nature. And I will be mentioning those in the days to come, in the episodes to come, rather. But you guys have a great day. We appreciate you. And please continue to listen to us. And I'm not sure what we're talking about next week. But trust and know it's going to be fire just like the rest of them, all right? Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.